Thank you everybody for being here. And today we are going to talk about not just the Red Dot campaign, which is a very, very important part of, the city's public health, but we're also going to talk about personal health of the people. And we want to give everybody a chance to ask questions as well. So at the end, we will have a question and answer session for everybody who is wanting to ask questions of the doctor, or maybe Zigisha, or even the waste picker related questions that you might have about what happens to waste. We are willing to answer all those questions. So without too much of a conversation, let me go on to a little bit about Swachh. Swachh, as you all know, is a waste picker cooperative, and it has been in existence for over 12 years. It has currently over 3,500 waste pickers who collect waste from over 8 lakh properties in Pune. So we collect about 1,200 tons of waste every day. And despite the fact that these were COVID times, we still had been collecting all this waste, and nothing has stopped us from doing that every day. It is very important, as all of you will agree, it is very important for the health of the city that waste be collected every day, because otherwise there are other public hazards that arise from, from actually these kind of leaving the waste outside. So let me just, tell you a little bit. The thing about Swachh is that it is also a cooperative which is run by waste pickers themselves. They make up their own decisions. There is a board. It's a very democratic system. They make up their own minds about what they want to do next. It is based on a user fee system, wherein everybody who uses the facilities, who uses the services, actually pays for it. So it's not a burden on the taxpayer. It is for the person who's generating waste to actually pay for it. And the most important thing is, how did we reach the conversation that we are having today? So let me just give you a background. One of the problems that the waste pickers had, and this came up a long time ago, that waste was being collected daily, but the sanitary waste, which comprises of diapers and comprises of sanitary pads that we use for menstrual health, were being thrown on the streets as is. They were being given to the waste pickers as it is. Now, waste pickers actually, handle all waste by hand, and they look through every waste to make sure that they can actually recycle as much as possible. So with this happening, they would end up touching the dirty pads, the dirty diapers, and things like that. So this was a big issue across the board. And to make it clear to the people, they actually we did several campaigns. One of them was the Send It Back campaign, which started in 2013, where we involved major makers of this kind of sanitary material, and we said, how does it feel to get it back at your desk? So we have been engaged with the big manufacturers of sanitary waste, and today in the year 2021, we are at a point, we are poised to actually recycle it. So if you can see the graphic on your screens right now, this will tell you what exactly happens to your sanitary waste. It is collected door to door, and it is part of the dry waste. It comes as part of the dry waste, but comes separately. The Swachh waste pickers collect it from each person. They give it to the Ghanta Gadi separately. Now, I must make this very clear. It is not mixed with any kind of waste. It is given to each of the Ghanta Gadis, which is the PMC vehicles, separately, and it goes to the transfer station, from which the idea is not to send it to the landfills, but to send it to a recycling unit. So this, in a nutshell, is what we do at Swachh, and which is why we are today able to talk about a lot of issues, not just about menstrual health individually, but also as a city, as a society, as a community. What can we do to make sure that this waste reduces, the waste is handled properly, and how does it affect each of our health? So this is how we recommend that you dispose of your sanitary waste. The Red Dot campaign was born in 2017, and what you have to do is, you can take the sanitary waste, you can wrap it in any paper that you find, you put a red dot on it and hand it over to the waste picker, and they will make sure that they hand it over to the municipality for safe disposal. So this is how the system works, and maybe this would be a good opportunity for Supriya Tai to tell her side of the story. We have one of our members here who is also a board member, and she's going to talk about how it was to actually be on the field and collect all this. Supriya Tai, तुम्ही सांगू शकाल का तुम्हाला काय त्रास होत होते, म्हणजे हे सॅनिटरी वेस्ट जेव्हा सुरुवातीला येत होता कचऱ्यात, कसं प्रॉब्लेम्स होते तुम्हाला आणि काय तुम्ही केला, कसं काय झाला होता, केव्हा सुरू झाला होता, हे थोडंसं आम्हाला सांगू शकाल का?
हो सांगू शकते ना. म्हणजे जेव्हा आम्ही कचऱ्याचं काम करत असताना ना, त्याच्यामध्ये ना ते येतात ना सॅनिटायझर म्हणा पॅड, त्याच्यामध्ये ती घाण असतं, त्याचा वास येतो. आणि वास आल्यावर ते 1 दिवस किंवा 2 दिवस जरी समजा कचरा जरी राहिला असो का कचरा, त्याचा वास येतो, त्या वास गुद मारतो आणि त्या वासाने मासा मळमळ होतं, उलटी होती, की आपल्या तोंडासमोर ते वास दिसतं सारखं सारखं, की आपल्याला बाबा ते दिसतं की ती घाण आहे म्हणून, ती लाल लाल आहे म्हणून ते दिसतं. त्याच्या पाय असं जेवण जात नाही. आपण जेव्हा जरी घेतलं तरी असं वाटतं की आपल्या ते समोर तेच आहे, नको वाटतं ते. त्याच्यामुळं असं जाणवतं की आपल्या अंगात जर नाही, आपण जर नाही जेवलो त्याच्यामुळं आपण वास येतो म्हणून नाही जेवलं तर आपल्या अंगात अशक्तपणा येतो, आज हात पाय थरथर कापतात, का की त्या वासामुळे आपण जेवत नाही ना, त्याचा वास येतो, लय घाण वाटतं. म्हणून चुकून आपल्याला हाताला सुद्धा लागतं. आपण जे पुन्हा निर्मिती सामान करतो ना त्याच्यामध्ये हाताला लागतं, बहुतेक जास्ती करून ते हातालाच लागत होते. ते हाताला सुद्धा असं वाटत की जेवायला नको, ते आपल्या हाताला लागलेलं आहे म्हणून दुसऱ्या कुठल्या वस्तूला सुद्धा हात लावायला नको वाटत होतं. म्हणजे घरातले आपण काय करायचं, काय बनवायचं असलं किंवा दुसऱ्या चांगली वस्तू असली तरी सुद्धा मी तर देवपूजा सुद्धा करत नाही, का की मी ते चुकून जरी पहिले हात लावत होते ना म्हणून देवपूजा सुद्धा करायची सोडून दिली, ते हात लागत होतं घाण म्हणून.
So what she said was that when we initially used to get it, you used to see the dirty diapers which were brown in color, or you used to see the menstrual blood in the pads, and it was not only difficult to handle it, there was also smell coming out of it, because it was normally it was a day old, and it would be, how quickly all these things get in the heat, they start stinking. And the thing is that waste, because the place where they collect waste from is actually also their office. It's like us sitting in our office, at our office desks, and trying to eat something when there is, maybe having our lunch or drinking something when there is something dirty lying on the table. So she says that the problem was that not only could we not eat, we did not even feel like making anything. We would feel like throwing up. And Dev Puja, that is, even she did not feel like praying to her God, because that smell used to constantly haunt her. And it was not like it was one day or 2 days. The problem is that every day when she went to work, she would find somebody or the other had thrown it. It was not like just one house or two houses or whatever it was. Somebody or the other had thrown it. And sometimes it is adult diapers, which all of us understand are not at all a pretty sight. So basically, it was very, very tough to handle this. That is what she just said. तुम्ही कसं सुरू केला हे रेड डॉट कॅम्पेन, कसं सुरू केला तुम्ही?
आमचं इथं आपल्या इथं महात्मा फुले वाड्यामध्ये प्रशिक्षण होतं, की त्याच्यामध्येच आम्हाला सांगितलं होतं की स्वच्छ संस्थामध्ये तर्फेच आम्ही सगळे दर महिन्याला मिटिंगला यायचं. त्यामध्ये सांगितलं होतं की सॅनिटायझर कुठलं वापरल्यावर जास्त वाटतंय, की कुठल्या वापरलं बारीक वाटतंय, की कुठलं एवढे छोटे छोटे असतंय त्याचं ते पाणी होऊन विरघळून जातंय, किंवा कपडा वापरल्यावर काय होतं, कपडा वापरल्यावर असं वाळून जातं ना, ते अजून सगळ्यात मोठं असतं लांब पॅड, ते वापरलं कसं होतं. मग ते एवढं पेपर मध्ये गुंडळून बारीक घडी करून ठेवायचं. ते सांगितलं की कुठलं पॅड आहे कशाने होतंय म्हणून. तेवढं आम्ही अशी सुरुवात केली की एवढीशी प्लास्टिकचे पेपर बनवलं, त्या पेपरमध्ये बांधून नुसते पहिला पिशव्या दिल्या, 1 रुपयाला एक दिली. त्या पिशव्यांचा 1 रुपयाला 1 रुपयाला, त्याच्यापासून आम्ही सुरुवात केली खरं म्हणलं तर, की हे आपण पहिलं चालवून बघू की चालतं का नाही म्हणून. ते चाललं म्हणजे माणसं घ्यायची बरं का, 50-50 रुपयाची, 150 रुपयाची. पॅम्पलेट छापलं होतं, त्या पॅम्पलेटवर असं वेगळं वेगळं पोस्टर लिहिलेलं होतं की भाजीचा वेगळा, पुनर्निर्मितीचा वेगळा, सॅनिटायझर पॅडचं वेगळं, डायपरचं वेगळं, सगळं लिहिलं होतं. मग त्यांना आम्ही सांगितलं हे मला सुका वेगळा, प्लास्टिक वेगळं द्या, आणि हे भाजीचं पाल्याचं हे वेगळं द्या, आणि हे ह्याच्यापासून असा असा त्रास होत आहे. खरं म्हणतर आता आपल्या स्वच्छ संस्थांमध्ये बायका बी कामं करतात, ते करतात, पण पुरुष बी कामं करतात ना, तर ती पुरुष सुद्धा हाताळतात ते, की त्यांना सुद्धा त्यांच्या हाताला लागतं, ह्याला लागतं. म्हणून आम्ही त्या नागरिकांना समजून सांगितलं की बाया माणूस हे खायचा तर ठीक आहे, पण ते पुरुष घेतोय, पुरुष त्यांच्या हाताला लागतंय, तो काय बी पिशव्या उचकतंय. तुम्ही मग एवढंच करा की बांधा पेपर मध्ये आणि त्याच्यावर लाल लाल रेडॉन काढा, पिशवीमध्ये जर ठेवलं तर त्या पिशवीवर लाल रेडॉन काढा, म्हणजे कळल तरी. तर त्यांनी सांगितलं की लाल कशाने काढायचं. आम्ही सांगितलं भांगात कुकर भरतं त्यांनी किंवा हॉटेल लावलेली स्टिपनी तुम्ही आम्हाला काढून द्या, म्हणजे आम्हाला कळेल की आम्ही जी पुनर्निर्मिती सामान्य ती बाजूला काढताना आम्हाला कळेल की ह्याच्या बाबा रेडॉन डायपर्ड हाय म्हणून ह्याला हात लावायचा नाही. ह्याला हात लावल्यावर मग सरांना ती इसकडते मग ती. आणि ती काय होतंय, मांजर सुद्धा कुत्री सुद्धा त्याला इसकडते ती. जर कचरा राहील ना तर सरळ रस्त्यात करते ती. आणि जाता येता कुठे जरी इसकडला कचरा पडला किंवा चुकून पडलं तरी ते गडी माणूस बघतो, त्या गडी माणसाने बघितल्यावर जास्ती लाज वाटते.
Let me just quickly translate what she was saying. She was talking about how the campaign for the red dot came into being. She says that they were told, first of all, of course, it was a problem of, I mean, it was not a problem. It was a way to educate the waste pickers on how to deal with the, you do understand that when there are 3,500 waste pickers across the city who need to collect this waste, everybody has to do it in the same way. There is a training that is going on. It's not like you can get 3,500 waste pickers into one space and say, okay, do this from tomorrow. So they had to be told, they had to be educated, and they had to be given pamphlets, which they further passed along to the residents where they were working, where they were supposed to wrap this up in paper, put a red dot on it. Often they were asked questions like, okay, what kind of material can be used to put a red dot, stuff like that. But they kind of managed through all that. And today we are in a position that we are actually poised to do this in a more organized, systematic way. But to give us a little more about the overall picture of the red dot and the waste management in the city, I'm going to invite Zigisha Maskar to please talk about this. Zigisha, could you enlighten us a little more about the issues of waste and sanitary waste particularly?
Sure. Thanks, Suchita. So I have been associated with Pune Municipal Corporation for some time, and what we see, as you know, in the city is the city generates close to about 1,800 tons of waste every day. Of this, some time back, there was some proposal, there were some discussions going on, and we did try to, it was a tough task, we tried to figure out how much is the quantity of sanitary waste that a city would generate on a daily basis. And we came close to a figure of about 5 ton per day, and this is only sanitary waste. If you look at the diaper waste, which was being talked about, adult diaper as well as baby diaper, that is definitely a bigger volume that is there, and that could go to almost 20 plus tons per day. So if you look at it in terms of maths, then in the whole picture, it's a very small quantity, right? But just as Tai was telling right now, the issue that it creates is much larger. We all have felt disgust whenever we see a bag which is open and the sanitary pad is lying on the road, because of course, whenever the dry waste bag is opened, as she said, by any dogs or any stray animals, that's the first thing that actually attracts them to it also, and because of which they open it, right? So that's why it is very necessary. It's also something that when it goes, even after your segregated waste from your dry waste, when it is going for any kind of processing, or if it goes for processing, largely it is not a recyclable, there's nothing that you can do. So it goes into the pile where it has to be either processed in a certain way, or it goes to the landfill right now, where if you're not processing it. So that's an environmental hazard in itself when it directly goes into a landfill itself. The other part of it is also, if you look at it, if it doesn't go in a landfill, if it gets bits and pieces into some other kind of waste where you're trying to make some other, say, compost or any other thing, then it is harmful equally over there that way. So how is the best way to handle it? The best way, of course, to handle it is to remove it at the source itself, to segregate it at the source itself. How can we do that? I mean, that's frankly the only way that you can separate it out at the source and then take care of it in a way that is meant only to take care of sanitary waste, instead of mixing it with other waste and then trying to say, okay, or then trying to extract it. Such waste pickers have to do is, it's not something that you want them to do where they have to put a hand into the dry waste and take it out. If it can be separated out and given to them separately, it can be taken care of also separately. There's a lot of awareness that is coming through in most of the cities, or not only in Pune, where sanitary waste, of course, there are rules also that are recommending that you have to take care of your sanitary waste separately. And because of that, there is a lot of movement to take care of sanitary waste, by the cities to set up processing facilities which can take care of the waste also. This goes in parallel to the day-to-day that we are having, is where when we are trying to improve the health of women all around the country, especially the menstrual hygiene, then it is very necessary that when you're telling them that we use sanitary pads, use proper health facilities for that, you make a process also, you make a way also to treat it also, you to process it also. And that is where the cities have to come together to find out. Now that is still a challenge, even when it is collected separately. How do you process sanitary waste? Till now, the prevalent methods are incineration, that is burning of the waste. And you would see a lot of small units set up. Even in Pune, there are quite a few units set up that are locally set up in certain wards to incinerate sanitary waste. Of course, there are other technologies also that are coming up. I think there was a company who is prominent in making sanitary pads who also had come up with some proposals. I think it's still in the work, it's not come through, where they are trying to see if they can make some, recycle the sanitary waste instead of having to burn it. Take out the different components that are there. So you all have seen sanitary pad is not just cotton or just not cloth, there is a plastic layer also. So where brands sell it saying that you wouldn't soil your clothes by using this, that thing that prevents that soiling of clothes actually is something that is hazardous to the environment also at the end. So how do you tackle that? So there are technologies that are coming up to do that, but I think we are a little still away from it. In the meantime, what can we do? Definitely make sure that it is collected separately. It does not impact the health of the city per se by going in and around the city and lying in dumps anywhere. It doesn't affect the health of waste because by having to, go and sort through that, so that it is collected. At least if we set that system right, because as I said, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. When within 800 tons of waste, you're trying to find only that 4 ton of waste, which you want to then separate and do something. So it can't be done at the end. It has to be done at the start. And only if we do it, can we then say, so even when somebody comes with a technology, he says, he or she, whoever comes in says that, okay, I can set up a plant of 10 tons, but you need to give me that much waste. How can I guarantee to give him 10 tons of waste when I'm not able to collect that much together? That will come only when each and every woman in the city gives it separately. And I can then say, okay, here it is. Now help me process this and take care of my environment and my city. So I think that's what I would end it right now on, and give it back to Suchismita.
So, that was very enlightening. I said that 3 times, so it was threefold enlightening. But the thing is that, because you're very right, unless we give the waste, how does the company get the waste to recycle? That's very, very essential. So, yes, but now we are talking about how this could be a hazard. I want to go to Dr. Shilpa Joshi and talk about how we can do something to reduce this waste, and how this was how this would connect with the health of the person, because we have heard things like if you wear a pad for very long, then there is toxic shock and things like that. I mean, we have a lot of half-baked knowledge. So I want her to actually tell us what is the correct picture and about the waste. Anything that she wants to share with us today. Dr. Joshi, the floor is yours.
Yeah. First of all, I have always had admiration for work of Swachh workers and the organization that you run. And now that I have come to know about it in more detail, I have tremendous admiration and respect for you people. So please accept my best wishes. And I think more and more people should know about what sort of good work you people are doing. And actually, it broke my heart to listen to Supriya Tai that how it is affecting. Of course, we all know, but then sometimes when it comes so much directly in front of you, you feel more about it. So I have all my sympathies and best wishes to Supriya Taya and her co-workers also. Now, I think we can definitely think about reducing the menstrual waste. So, as many of us know, menstrual cup is a very good option which has come. So, I think for especially elder women above 18 years, above 18 years girls who are like bit more mature and married women and women with kids, they can definitely go to try using menstrual cups. Just 2 3 precautions that have to be followed is that menstrual cup needs to be taken out of the, it is a cup, of course. I think most of us know about menstrual cup nowadays. It is a silicone cup which has to be inserted inside vagina when the period starts. So the menstrual blood collects in that cup, and the woman can take out the cup and wash it and then reinsert it. The only thing is the cleanliness issue is very, very important, because if it is not cleaned on time, that can lead to some dangerous infections. So the woman needs to it out every 6 to 8 hours and regularly clean it and reinsert it. Of course, women would need, if they are outside the house and they need to change the cup, they would need better toilet facilities. But I think we can manage that if we educate the women properly, that can be done. My only concern is the girls below 18. Generally, periods are starting earlier and earlier now. So the girls who are just 11, 12 are also getting the periods. So for them, the menstrual cup might not be a practical thing to use, because as their vaginal size is small and inserting the cup and everything can cause lots of problems. If it is not cleaned on time, then also they are at risk of infection. So those small girls can of course use sanitary pads. But today I was reading about the banana leaf fiber pads which they have come up with, which I think is an excellent idea. So maybe if we can promote that better, then it will be ecologically more friendly. And for women also, because these sanitary pads contain a chemical called dioxin, which after long-term use can be toxic to women. So
Right.
these pads which are there in the market right now are sometimes they do have toxin in them. So if we come up like something like this banana fiber leaf, banana fiber pad, so I think that would be a real breakthrough in this. Also, I was
Right.
thinking that if I don't know about the scientific like engineering side of it, but I was thinking with so many scientific advances, if we can come up with small units which a household can use, where they can incinerate the pad. Because in one household, the sanitary waste might not be that much. So at least with sanitary pads, I think diapers would be difficult. But if somebody just manufactures such small incinerator units, and if they are available at reasonable rate, and then if you can sell it to the households, this problem might lessen. And if there is very small unit, then maybe the pollution due to incineration also can be reduced. So if somebody can come up with something like that, I think it would be a great breakthrough.
Right. So, ma'am, that's a very good suggestion, except that thing is, it becomes a problem of making sure everybody has it, and then making sure that, the ashes are collected, or, it is a little more complicated than just having it everywhere. But yeah, the thing is that, like somebody, Neeta Ganguly has said that, those incinerators are available. But we find that in the long term, it's probably better to come up with solutions which are, built more for a community rather than an individual for such issues,
Yes.
because not everybody can afford an incinerator, and people who can afford it also sometimes do not have have the space. Like imagine in a place like Mumbai, where the space is so small
Yes.
that you may not be able to have an incinerator. So there are issues like this that come up. And also, there is a technology that says that we will probably get to recycling as well. And that's what we are looking at. We are engaged with big companies who are talking about things like this. The problem, like Zigisha said, is we do not have the volume yet to recycle it. And so it's a chicken and egg story कि पहले क्या आया, पहले आपको recycling unit चाहिए या पहले आपको enough pads चाहिए. So it is like one of those kind of stories. But we are hoping that, you know, all this can be done. The other issue is with incinerators sometimes is that when people burn, like for instance, in between there was this, and because we are, you know, breaking myths and taboos today, there was this thing that you could burn your pad in a matka. The problem is that is just sending the pollution into the air.
Yes,
You know, so
absolutely
it is
wrong.
not, yeah.
Yes.
And then there'll be a proliferation of lot of incinerators which may not come to the standard. So we are just kicking the can down the road, wherein we are not necessarily doing the right thing. So we have to look at it more holistically, is what I would say. That is one thing. What other taboos have you, I mean, what are the other issues that, you know, affect menstrual health and hygiene? I mean, not just to do with alternative methods of alternative feminine hygiene products. What else, in your experience, are the things that people have issues with in for menstrual health? I would, I would be happy to hear about things like that as well.
Yes, actually, menstruation from the beginning has been a big taboo in our society. And we as gynacs have been trying to educate the people. But I'm a bit sad to say that many of the taboos still exist. The most important issue, of course, is in the more now in the rural area, where the girl's education stops when she starts menstruating, because there are no toilet facilities. She's not does not have access to the sanitary pads, and parents just stop her education. So that is the most sad thing, especially in India, and I think in developing countries also. So that is one taboo there. And the other, of course, is there are many misconceptions about the periods. Till now, even the educated women with career come to me for postponing the periods when they have some religious function or the other at their homes. So I feel very sad. I always tell them that if you are doing a puja for a Devi, then Devi, we have given human form to a Devi. So if she has a human form, she has a human body, then she must be menstruating. So why do you want to stop menstruation for doing a puja? Because that doesn't make sense. But
Right.
that taboo is so deeply sort of embedded in women's mind in India that they just refuse to accept. That they give more many excuses like my mother-in-law, my husband doesn't like it, and this and that. But basically they have to take this out of their minds, that menstrual blood is not bad blood. In fact,
Right.
it is the preparation of the uterus. If the woman conceives, then that is going to help the baby grow. It is nourishment for the baby. When
Right.
woman doesn't get pregnant, that blood comes out. So there is nothing bad about it. So
Right.
it is not an impure blood. That concept in women's mind needs to go off, that it is an impure blood. It is not
Right.
impure blood. In fact, it
Correct.
contains stem cells, which some companies were in between. There are some companies who have come up to collect the menstrual blood to extract stem cells. So this blood is
Right.
not impure. That is the biggest taboo women suffer from.
Right. So, ma'am, if I may share a small trivia here today, the reason
Yeah.
28th of May is considered the World Menstrual Health Day is because there is 28 days in each cycle of menstruation, and it is for 5 days. So, which is why
Yes, yes, yes.
28 by 5.
Oh,
You know,
that's very
which
interesting.
is, yes. So it is a
Yes.
very interesting way of remembering Menstrual Health
Yes.
Day. So just to
Yes.
give you an idea about how we can, we can remember all these things and why they become
Yes.
part of our day-to-day conversations. And we are happy because, the thing is, often we are asked, okay, you are dealing with only the waste. We are not dealing with other things. How does that become? The thing is, when we talk about menstrual health and disposal of the items, it gives you a platform to talk about other things. There is a
Yes.
question here for you, which says, Dr. Shilpa, if a woman with an IUD, can she use a menstrual cup? The cup, can she use a cup?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes using menstrual cup while there is an intrauterine device, that is copper T, can be a problem, because you see, when the woman inserts the menstrual cup, it creates the vacuum inside the vagina. And
Right.
it is by the vacuum action which the menstrual cup fits into the mouth of the uterus. So when
Mhm.
pulling it out, there is a small chance that the copper T also would be pulled down. So there is problem when women have a copper T. It might not always happen, but sometimes copper T can come out when you try to remove the menstrual cup. So
Right.
that can happen. There is one more thing. I think the as you say, the disposal of the menstrual products creates awareness. Is I agree, because disposal of the sanitary pads has been a awkward question for women for generations,
Right. Right.
and that makes them that makes the girls and the women very they feel embarrassing. The thing becomes very awkward, and then they tend to throw it here or there anywhere without taking any proper precautions. So as you say, the more we remove these taboos and this misunderstanding and the awkwardness around this thing, the woman will get more educated and learn to dispose of the pads more properly, in a more proper way and in a fearless way, which is
Right.
more important, I feel.
Right. So, ma'am, before there's a question for you, but before I go there, I must tell you, we walk the talk. We have actually given our waste pickers, their daughters-in-law, their daughters, cloth pads. I mean, through CSR funds, we have actually made sure that they can use cloth pads if they prefer to do that, because it's a more environmentally friendly way of dealing with it. Also, it's good for their own health. Like you said, the chemicals are not there in a cloth pad. And our grandmothers and all use cloth only, but this has got a better shape. It's got more absorbency and stuff like that. So we have done that. Here, the question for you is, she says, which is the best sanitary pad? That I don't know if Dr. Shilpa can tell you specifically, but she also says, how many times should we change in a day? So, I mean, if you can answer the question about how many times.
Yeah, pad has to be changed at least 8 hours is maximum. If there is absolutely no flow, still you should be changing it every 8 to 10 hours, because the whatever the fluid there, as you say, it gets degenerated very fast. So there are biochemical processes going on there. So women should be changing the pads more often. And the brand, there are many organic pads available nowadays. They're, I think, available everywhere. And as you say, there are reusable cloth pads also are available nowadays. The only thing I'm worried about is when you use reusable cloth pads, they need to wash it very well, and if possible, drying in the sun would be very, very good, because that is almost like a natural sterilization of the pad.
Right.
So if they can come up with drying those pads in the sun, that will take care of many, many problems, because as you know, sunlight kills most of the microbes and microorganisms. So drying in the sun, if you are at all using the reusable pads, then that would
Right.
be a very, very good thing for women.
Right. So,
And
like
these
you
banana
said,
leaf, do you have any idea where they're available? Actually, I have no idea.
yeah, so there are several companies. I know of a company called Sakhi, which is doing it, I think, in Gujarat. I can get the details if you like, but there are many actually. I mean, if you Google enough, you will get basics. I can share details with everybody if they share their numbers, or if they ping us on WhatsApp, or if they send us a mail.
There are few available on Amazon, but they are very, very costly. So
Yes.
I wonder about that.
Yes, ma'am, the problem with any product is if it is used by very few people, the cost is always high. As the
Very true.
volume increases, the cost will come down. And also, while we're talking about cost, for instance, your cups, actually they
Yes.
come, I mean, everybody thinks they're expensive, but considering that they last so much longer
Yes,
than your pads, which I use and throw, actually they work out in the long run. So I think Amog has decided to run the poll again for anybody who has missed out on the poll. And Amog, at the end of this, can we share the results as well before we go ahead? We have any other questions that people may have for us. There was a question about Delhi. I'm trying to locate the question. There was a question about hospital waste. So let me take that question. The thing is that, hospital waste is treated differently, and Dr. Joshi will agree with me, because there are a lot of hazardous chemicals, lot of hazardous infectious materials in it. So it is not part of the waste because job to collect that, at least in Pune. I know that somebody has said that, waste pickers handle this in Delhi. I do not know how the Delhi system works and whether the Delhi waste pickers are part of, collection of waste and things like that. In Pune, it is more than 70% of the people are actually, dealing with waste pickers on a day-to-day basis. So it's much simpler and it is much more easier to communicate with your waste picker directly. If you have problems, you can tell the waste picker. If they have problems, they can tell you. And that actually is a very good system which we have in Pune, which will work really well. Someone wants to start practicing it in any other city. What should we be ready for? Thank you for that question. We often get asked in Pune that, we like the system of waste pickers which exists in Pune. How do we do it in other cities? Is it replicable? Absolutely. I mean, there is nothing that stops you from actually replicating this model. But the thing is that you have to have grassroots approach, and your municipality has to work with you. If the municipality is willing to work with you, if your citizenry is willing to work with you, I mean, we did not do the detailed Swachh model presentation, but actually speaking, the way it works is there are 3 prongs to the system. One is the municipality, one is the citizens, and one is the waste pickers. So if all 3 prongs are willing to work together, then the system works really well. We would be happy to talk about it. Maybe we can, if all of you sign up, maybe we can do a separate webinar just for this, for talking about the Swachh system and the Swachh model. But currently, I'd be happy to take questions on menstrual health or about waste for Zigisha, or if anybody has any questions for Supriya Tai about her work. Do you know waste pickers segregate waste into more than 40 different categories? And I'm only talking of dry waste. They actually segregate it into 40 different categories. Once they fine segregate the waste, whatever the scrap dealers take is segregated into 40 different categories. So this is the kind of work we do. We would be happy to hear about anything that is, that you would like to hear more about. Amog, do we have the results of the poll, or what do you want to, I don't know, I've lost Amog, I think, somewhere. How are workers like Tai being supported monetarily? Okay, so thank you for asking that question. In fact, I do want to touch upon the fact that during COVID times, we have had a very, very tough year for all of us. And we are dealing with it to the best of our ability, because we are essential workers. We could not stop working even for a day, because waste does not wait for anybody. So the thing is that what we the monetary system that works in Pune is, every household that has its waste being collected pays what is called a user fee to the waste picker directly. So you save on the admin costs. You have a direct relationship with the waste picker. They come to your house. You know who's providing the service. You know whom they're providing the service to. It's a very direct correlation. So if you assume the waste picker is doing about 100 homes per month, she gets 7,000 rupees. Mostly they work in pairs. Another stream of income for them is the recyclables, like the plastic, paper, and everything that they get. Maybe about every 3-4 days, they go and dispose it off to the scrap dealer and get their day-to-day money, like just to get maybe aaj ka bhaji, tarkari, and all that kind of stuff. And during the COVID times, it was very difficult, because the scrap shops had shut. That there was lockdown in place. We had to carry the waste ourselves. It was very, very tough. So we are raising CSR funds. If you go to our website, we have a Give India, or if you go to one of our social media sites, we do have a Give India, link that you can access. We are trying to raise funds for the waste pickers so that they can, because in many cases during the lockdowns, because waste pickers were essential workers, they managed to, be the only ones who are working. The other family members had no source of income. So they did all that. And here there's a question about how do the male members of our family, brothers, fathers, comfortable with the topic of menstruation? It is treated with such secrecy and taboo mindset, even by educated. Shilpa ma'am, would you like to, I would of course add my 2 bits, but Shilpa ma'am, would you like to answer the question that how can we talk to the men in our lives about this topic?
Yeah, so I'm very happy to say that the younger generation, generation of my son, so those boys and girls speak very freely about the menstruation. In fact, being a gynec, also sometimes I get shocked by the things he can discuss with his friends who are girls. So with that generation, I think we have gone ahead. But I think it may not be so in all the social classes. So what women should do is, I think, first of all, women should be more free about it. That supposing a woman is menstruating, she's feeling not very comfortable, she should discuss it with her husband. Women tend to hide it from their husbands also. So, and all the male members of the family. So if women can start speaking freely about it, then men might open up more and more. And of course the organization like you, when you organize such talks and everything, so that also makes it more, men tend to become more open towards the topic. And we generally, I tend to have few write-ups which I write on social media, which makes the men more aware of the problems women face. So I think it is for the mothers to educate their sons like that, maybe up to sisters to talk to their brothers. So women have to make a start, and I think men might then come forward with more liberal views of themselves.
Right. So the thing is that I completely agree with you. And Satya is saying that men should cook and help spouses during her period days. I know Satya personally, and I know that he does this himself. So, congratulations to you, Satya. We actually are so happy to have people like you in our midst. But let me give you an anecdote on our own experience when we went to talk to people about the Red Dot campaign in a very, upscale neighborhood of Aund in Pune. There were many men who said that, abhi ghar pe koi nahi hai, abhi ghar pe meri wife nahi hai, abhi ghar pe meri beti nahi hai, meri maa nahi hai, and you can come later to talk about it. Not even realizing that sanitary waste is not just about pads. It's also about diapers. It's about looking after your child.
Yes.
So basically it is a bit of a taboo, and I completely understand that, and I completely agree with Dr. Shilpa, who says that we should talk to our sons about it, if not anybody else. It is very important that we do not distinguish between when we share the facts of life. I incidentally have 2 grown-up sons, and we are very open about these kind of topics. And my colleagues can also attest to this, that I probably am embarrassingly open about these topics to them. The thing is that I feel that if we are open about these things, it will become normal. And once it becomes normal, the problems will automatically start going away. I'm sorry to, answer some of these questions myself as well and add a little bit to what the experts are saying, but it's just experience. There is a question here. I think it's also during adolescence. School should educate. Yes, absolutely. Schools have a big role to play in this, just like any one of the other caregivers in our life, whether it's our parents, whether it's our school, whether it's our teachers. I think they have a huge role to play. We could have a Q&A round. Consider it begun, and if you have any questions, please don't wait for a Q&A round. You put in the question and we'll answer it. There is I think Sonia who's asking the question. There's an answer here that women should also not feel shy at the workplace during their periods. Working women spend so much of their time at work. They should be comfortable using menstrual hygiene products, and if they are feeling discomfort from cramps, headaches, etc. I think absolutely, I agree with you, Lubna. That is very important to talk about. Corporate involvement in sanitary waste disposal. So again, I could probably ask Zigisha to talk a little bit about EPR, if you'd like to talk about it. Extended producer responsibility and how corporates get into it. Would you like to talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. One of the things that has come up is the new plastic waste rules, which actually make it mandatory that a lot of producers who make these products, sanitary waste being one, and also other plastic waste, that's why it's known as extended producer responsibility, the EPR fund, are responsible for also taking care of the waste that is generated by the use of their product itself. And so from that angle, they are supposed to make sure that it is collected, there is a system for collecting it, as well as help towards processing it. So these are funds that are now getting available. Of course, the rules are still getting framed up, and so there's still a lot of vagueness about how much for how much kind of thing. But it is coming up, and companies are looking at it. They know, just as CSR funds has got mandated now, similarly, this is also going to happen in a few years' time. And once that happens, there would definitely be a more you would say interest also from the companies to set up the system and help the ULBs or the cities to set up systems to collect the waste, also to support systems like Swachh has to provide better facilities to also collect it as well as to process it that way. So yes, EPR is coming in. So there will be, there are options that are opening out that can be looked at over the long term. I had a question to Suchimita, since Swachh has been running the Red Dot campaign for quite a few years now. What is the main hesitancy of people to give it that way? I mean, what is the level of people, or how many people do you think really give it still in that way with a package and a Red Dot? And if not, then why not?
Very good question, Zigisha. The thing is, we feel that there is a lot of hesitancy to do with changing your existent habits. If you notice, I mean, what we've seen here, even in the answers, is that the younger people are able to change faster, even if it is just talking about menstruation and stuff like that. Whereas the older people have a problem. So this whole thing also extends to even our habits. Like I remember when I used to go and buy sanitary napkins, they would be put in a black packet as if it was something that I should be,
hiding.
Home. It was that bad. But I think with time now we are open to getting it openly. So that is a start. There is hesitancy to actually, like you said, people don't want to talk about it. People don't want to see it drying. Do you know people fall sick because they use wet cloth pads, musty cloth pads and things like that? I'm sure Dr. Shilpa would agree with me, because they're not drying them properly. She talked about drying them out in the sun. The problem is that nobody wants to do this because it's supposedly embarrassing. Supposedly it is something that we should not talk about at all. And as far as the collection system is going, we are actually at a very good place right now, wherein all the waste pickers have started collecting this separately. There is, it is going to take some time, but we are today getting sanitary waste, absolutely not all of it. But you do understand that even segregation, basic segregation, if there are people here from other cities, they will agree that even basic segregation is such a tough task, because people are not used to it. They are like, oh, mera time jata hai, and there is, like Supriya Tayi told us, what do I mark it with? They will have questions like that, which actually make no sense. I mean, what do you mark something about? What does it take to mark something with red? Take your lipstick and mark it if you have nothing else, or whatever it is, take your bindi, whatever it is that you have. But the thing is, people do ask questions like this. So I think these are habits which take time to change. And this is why these kind of conversations are very, very important. So, I'm happy that we are able to provide a platform for people like this. And there are all of you who are very awake, who are woke people, who are very aware about these kind of issues, who come on to these and help us spread this message further. There is one comment from somebody who says the child starts menstruating, and I completely agree that, in B.Ed, in the way we deal with children, we should be told that these are not taboos, that there should be a way to actually talk about this kind of issues.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Supriya Tayi wants to add something to
oh, please, this is her platform. Let her please say something.
Hello.
Supriya Tayi, bola.
मला असं वाटतंय असं सांगावं की जसं ते नागरिक आहे ना ज्या ह्या गोष्टीसाठी वेळ काढू शकत नाहीत की आम्हाला टाइम नाही की आम्ही बिझी आहे म्हणून सांगतात ना, बाकीच्या गोष्टीसाठी जसे बिझी राहतात ना तसं थोडं का होईना पण वेळ काढून हे जे काम आहे ते चांगलं करायला पाहिजे. त्यांनी त्यांच्याकडूनच प्रतिसाद चांगला आला पाहिजे आम्हाला बी. आता आमच्याकडून तर आहे, अजून बी चांगला नागरिकाकडूनच आला पाहिजे.
Right. So, Zigisha, I think that answers your question, that how we are going to go ahead and change things. It will come from the grassroots, wherein people will be told that this is the best way to do it. And hopefully, slowly, we will see a lot more change in the system. Thank you, Supriya Tai. Amok, can you share the poll results? So I think we are kind of at the end of our conversation today. Unless somebody has any questions, we have there. Today, most of you wanted to learn about there are 31% people. These are the poll results. As you can all see, I'm so happy to see that 77% of the people have said they want to learn about everything here. And the second poll shows that, basic waste management practices is what they would like us to do further. Absolutely, we hear you. And we are going to do this soon. Do register yourselves. Do send in, messages to us on our mail, Swachh, COOP@gmail.com. There, Amog has shared the details where how you can reach us. Please do share your details with all these people, and we'll also be putting this up on YouTube. So please be aware and please share it with everybody who might have missed it, so that they can come back for this again. I would like to thank all of you for being here and sitting through this very patiently and asking us questions which are so relevant. If anything has been missed out, do reach out to us. I particularly want to thank Supriya Tai for being here, for Zigisha and Shilpa. All of you, thank you so much for participating, for taking time out and being with us here today. It's been a wonderful experience. I also got to learn so much, as I'm sure as everybody else. Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.